time, Matt. I can
They're
tell by the
fucking
time, Matt.
Let's learn
Really?
and all of that. Fucking hell, they're just
useless cunt.
yeah.
You're saying there, Lynn? You're saying?
We're
wait.
like Danny.
We're
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you tend to forget them like watching a match and something like that. And Peter forgetting that he was doing Sober October for Sunday night. But hey, there you go.
How's he going on that? Flying, is he?
Oh, all 5 days. All the 5 days he did Sober October.
He didn't. He told the fucking world that he was doing Sober October and he's gone already.
Oh, yeah, he fell off the wagon, right, yo. He needed a little bit of a break, you know. Yo, I think he did 4 sober days and that was enough for him. And I said, yo, all those creamy pints you're sharing in the group chat, Lenny, I think that cracked him. Yo, all those lovely pints.
No. Look, I have to say, I'm sticking to Sober October. That's
Oh yeah.
You mean non-sober October?
No, see, Len's idea of Sober October. See, Matt, Len's idea of Sober October is drinking 1 less pint every weekend. That's about Sober October as he gets.
I told you, right? I have my own version. It's called Alcohol for Autumn. It's working fucking brilliantly.
Evening as well, anyway, Gregor. No problem about the messages and condolences on the passing of your father. From what we've heard,
Sorry to hear that, Greg.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Greg. Hope the family is well.
Yeah. You see, the last must have hit hard. It did all right, Bev. You know, but we'll get to that now in a minute. Don't worry about it, Bev. Jeez, for 2 minutes and they haven't done the second intro yet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode of Mauls, Balls and All, the Breakdown. Live on Facebook via Ruckus and our YouTube page via Mauls, Balls and All. Matt, of course, is recording this episode and we'll be posting it later on Spotify. So if you want to catch up there at some stage, be much appreciated. All right, let's see. We're 2.5 minutes in. We've been talking absolute and utter shite. Matt,
what's new?
Leinster have lost 2 games in a row. First time since was it 2003 or something like that. I think Gregor knows that anyway. But
we're not counting.
No, not at all. Then
is there a question in that there somewhere? Is there a question in that there somewhere?
Yeah. Have you ever considered supporting Munster?
Absolutely not.
Filthy knackers down 2 games.
Filthy knackers down Munster wouldn't be bothered. Lads, I'd more quickly support Dublin GAA than I'd support fucking Munster.
Jeez, that's saying something. And your mammy from Munster. That's just not on at all.
My mum is from Munster. She's from Tipperary, and she has always supported Munster. And fair play to her over the years in the house.
Well done, Mrs. Boland. Well done, Mrs. Boland.
I tell you, we weren't loving her when Munster were beating us, but
Mike might actually know your ma. They're both being from Tip. He'll probably find out who she is, all the relations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he's from North Tip.
There's a story here, you see. Dara's wife is a Munster woman.
Yeah.
Matt's mammy is a Munster woman. So behind all these Leinster men are great Munster women. I like it.
Exactly. That's a very good point then. That's a very good point then.
You know why that is, Len, don't you?
Why?
Because the Munster women can't wait to get out of fucking Munster because it's a shithole.
I tell you, I wouldn't like to be you going over.
That's only Tip and Cork.
That's only Tip and Cork, is it, Danny?
The only Tip and Cork.
Yeah.
But then look at the amount of Dublin women come down here to Kerry. What's that say? Now, anyway, Matt, Bulls 39, Leinster 31. Second loss in 2 weeks straight, 2 straight weeks, but at least your South Africa tour is out of the way for the moment. But what are your thoughts on the match?
Well, I mean, look, we all know South Africa is impossible to go for unless you're in a red jersey, because you guys seem to always get results down there. Do you know what I mean? But look, I had said for the Stormers game that that Leinster would lose, and I was right. And Len, you were on that show when I said that. In the manner of that they lost, I was disappointed, to say the least, and I was hoping then that we'd see a bounce back this week against the Bulls, and we absolutely did see a bounce back. Fair play to the lads; they put away that awful defeat. I mean, 35-0 is horrible, and it must be very bad in the camp because they want to right that wrong, and they could have won that game. They really could have won that game, but a much better performance. I mean, it didn't start off well. A quick try from the Bulls in 4 minutes, and then another try, and then Will Connors getting a yellow card. I was like, oh no, here we go. This is going to be a fucking disaster. But to be fair to the lads, they dug in. They got a try when Connors was off. They were in the game at halftime, and they could have won that game. They could have won it. But look, they got a bonus point for 4 tries. I'm happy with that. That's a good result for a B team going down to South Africa. That's great. But again, like you said, it's out of the way now. The first 2 games of the season, we won't be back down there. It's grand. So the season is definitely not over, but it's not a great start to the season, really.
Yeah, but then again, Matt, I suppose a lot of teams, or the way I look at it is, I'd rather the team is Sporting get a bad start to the season, get that shakiness out of the way, and finish strong in the season.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, we all know, like, I mean, I'm not just being your typical Leinster fan, like singing their praises. It's no harm for them to lose every now and again because it just keeps everybody in check. Because I think the new-aged Leinster fans, they're only used to winning. And when they lose, then it's fucking Leo out, the team is shit, all this bollocks. They weren't there when Leinster were losing all the fucking time. We couldn't even, there was times we'd get down to Thomond and you wouldn't even want to turn up down there because you'd be like, here we go, fucking spanking again. But things have changed. So look, the team that went down, I think from the first game, they learned so much in going into the second game, and they were in a position to win that game. So a good performance. But look, here we go. Leinster defensive shambles the last 2 weeks. Johan. And look, he's right. We all thought Nia Aber was going to be gone. They obviously see something that we don't at the moment. But,
what?
You can't start this fucking Leo out at the 2 games into the season. Fucking hell, like.
If that was the Premier League or La Liga or the Bundesliga, you'd say something after 2 games. About wanting the manager out, but
it'd be on after the Heineken Cup. Lost the sort of or not.
Look, I mean,
he would have been out the door. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he should, but what Danny said was the Premier League. He would have been gone on the back of that.
Yeah. There's a lot more money in the Premier League, and when teams are not performing, then they get rid of managers, and I understand that.
I don't know. Look at Newcastle in Premiership. I
don't follow football. There's nothing I more detesting in my life than to see fully grown men get a kick in the shin and roll around for half an hour pretending they're fucking.
I'm talking about Newcastle Rugby, the new Red Bull team.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Before you go off on a fucking rant there, Matt.
Yeah, well, sure, look, I hate fucking football.
You should have told the difference.
I mean, after getting them and, putting a hell of a lot of work for Red Bull into it to be just fucking dismissed.
If you look at that Falcons, if you look at that Red Bull team, most of them players that are in that team are in their twilight years anyway. So what are they going to be expecting? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, you'd need a really kind of youthful side rather than a team that are. How do I be fucking polite about this? They're on their way
over the hill.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a really polite way of doing it, and they are just finishing out their careers with this team. So they're not going to do something that quick, but Red Bull, they're in that industry of sport where
it's Matt, that's a case of changing the players, not changing the coach.
Yeah.
If
Anyway,
they're freezing up, then
I think Leo would have been in trouble if he hadn't have won the URC at the end, the grand final. I think he would have been in trouble. But I think that's given him another year grace. So he'll go into this year. The fact that they're giving out already is annoying. Like, yeah, things didn't go well in the Champions Cup, but he delivered a URC final, which they hadn't done in 4 or 5 years anyway. So that's saving the bacon for a little bit. Is Len coming back, or what's the crack?
I'm not too sure. We'll wait for his Wi-Fi to sort out anyway. But Pauline Boland, I take it that's your mother, is it, Matt?
I have no idea who that woman is.
Don't say. Oh, really?
That's me wonderful mammy. That's me wonderful mammy.
No, Len's dropped out. He'll probably pop back in a minute. I'd say. He says, Matthew, oh, you're in trouble now. You know when you get the full name from your mother.
Oh, 100%.
Matthew, you know you're in trouble. It's like me when I hear Daniel, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Be careful what you say now. You're surrounded by Munster supporters. That is true.
I think my Wi-Fi is acting up, Danny. I'll see you later.
I'll see you, Matt, anyway. But because there was one here as well. Mike Ruddock said on next week's shows, no trophies are won in September. He's right, Joe. Because
he is right.
Yeah, because like look at this. Teams need 3 or 4 games to start the season to get in, especially no matter what thing it is. Pedro, what are you doing here?
Jesus, Len, what happened to you?
Hold on. I am joining you because I just noticed that Len has dropped out. So to add to the conversation, here I am. How are you?
Not too bad. I take it you saw that Matt's mom was giving out him, told him to behave himself.
I saw that, yes, and Pauline Boland is a very welcome viewer of our show. She obviously raised an all right kind of fella, you know. He's all right.
It's funny how the times have turned down now because Danny's surrounded by Leinster supporters.
There you go. Now, and that's the only reason I came in. Danny, it's your show. The only reason I came in is because Len dropped out. That's all why I'm here. Go on. Go ahead.
Now, Peter, since you're here, 2 things were lost this weekend. Your Sober October challenge and the Bulls beating Leinster. Was that the cause before you fell off the wagon? And what are your thoughts on the game? I had to get that in. Come on.
Listen. Good stuff. I like it. Hold on. Let me just straighten my Leinster hat here. Okay. My Sober October came to an abrupt halt yesterday when I was out for, as you all know, for a lunch with my the family, the in-laws, and there was just wine and beer and so on. I could not resist. As I said, I will repeat what Oscar Wilde said. I can resist everything but temptation. The Leinster game, as Matt said, I agree with everything what Matt said. We could have won that, but did we deserve to win it? Probably not. Danny, I would say to you, because look, we haven't performed well in South Africa, and it is great to get it out of the way, to be honest with you. The first 2 games of the season, if Munster or Ulster or Connacht went down to South Africa for the first 2 games, they would not be impressed with what they could do or what they would achieve. And Leinster really, you see, the problem is, Danny, that Leinster had 13, 15, 16 players on the line squad.
Yeah.
They're on the mandatory 10-week rest period after that. So it was no huge shock to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
I'll come back to you on this one, Peter. You said there are 16 players missing and they're on the stand down for the moment. is this a good thing for, let's say, the second and third string Leinster players to say, look, when they come back, knock them down, give me the jersey. I've proved it. Even though they've lost, they might show some bit of talent, that they're good enough to step up, maybe with some of the other players coming back. Do you think it's a way of showing how good they are, even in these circumstances?
It's a great question. It's a great question, Danny. I you would think so. You would think so that people or players fighting for places would think that way. I mean, Will Connors is one that springs to mind. But like the problem with Leinster is, and I've said this before, the problem with Leinster is that they have too much, not too much, but they have so much talent coming through the system, be it the academy and the school system and stuff like that. That if say like someone is fighting for a place, like the coach is going to stick with the tried and trusted. You know, if you look at the back three, say 6, 7, 8, you're going to go. Caelan Doris is nailed on. Josh van der Fleer is nailed on. So if you're in that particular position for Leinster Rugby, you're going to go, well, I've got to wait until these guys retire until I actually get starting position, or unless they're injured. So I don't know. It's a great question, Danny. I like it. I don't know what the answer is.
But the pressure the younger lads, let's say the second and third string guys, the pressure they're putting on the starters, does that make the starters up their game? That's the question for you now. If there's pressure,
it does, and I will back up that again. A good question. I will back up that with when Barrett came over here, and people were giving out, well, why do we need Barrett? But the thing about having someone like Barrett in the team is that Barrett raises the bar for people who are trying to get into the squad. The same way, maybe not to the same extent, but with Ione coming in, he raises the bar again for people coming in. So I actually don't know, Danny, how to answer your question, to be honest with you. It is a good question. But I'll let Matt have a go at that.
What are your thoughts about? Do you think the pressure from the second and third choice players playing good, do you think that raises the bar for the regular starters and forcing everyone to kind of improve their game overall?
Yeah, look, it is a very good question, and people will have different views and opinions on this. I personally think, like, playing the game years ago when you had maybe 30 guys on a team trying to get into the starting squad, and the coach was always saying, like, go out and make a good account of yourself and take that jersey off the other fella, and put your hand up for selection. Of course, these lads are going to want to be playing every weekend, getting picked. But when you have the likes of 15 players coming back from a Lions squad, the pressure's on to perform well. And of course, they want to do it. They want to put the pressure on the guys because you don't want complacency in a squad to turn up to training and go, I'm definitely getting my jersey at the weekend, so I'll fucking piss about and train and all that sort of stuff. It puts the pressure on them guys to actually perform and continually perform on a regular basis. And look, competition in a squad is good, and look, to be fair to Leo, he is one of those coaches that does change around the team quite a bit, during the season, and he likes to play a lot of players and rotate. I think we played 50 odd players last season. That's incredible. And to be fair, like, that's the best way he can do it. So when the guys get their chance, they have to try and take it to go, well, look, I'm going to put my hand up this week. But as Peter said, like, barring retirements or injuries or guys that might get injured and they could be out for a long spell, you've got players there to go, Grant, I'm putting on that jersey and I'm going to do my best to fill the boots of the other fella. And they're going to want to do it for each other as well. Like, I know.
Hang on.
It's a bit pointless now that he fucked it up yesterday anyway.
Yeah, I was supposed to ask that the bottle of water you drink there, Peter. Do you know what, Matt? It could be vodka in the bottle of water.
We just don't know that, Danny. Do we? We have to
It could be vodka in 7-Up. Flat
we have
7-Up.
to give the benefit of the doubt.
It's definitely not. I don't drink spirits. It's actually it is water. So
Sure.
But yeah, look, it's a fantastic question. It really is, and I'd say everybody has a different opinion on it.
Yeah, even Johan saying here, saying Soroka is the only Leinster player who stepped up last week. Hence, I looked the shadow of the player he once was. Pendergast looks so slow and predictable.
I would agree with everything there. I really would. I said even from the first game, I had said to the lad, I put a message in the group. Jesus, you think Sam would have learned how to tackle during the summer?
Yeah.
You know. Now, he did have a better performance at the weekend, but you know.
Yeah. No, there's a friend of mine. He said there that he was asking, well, did Sam Prendergast go to the Billy Burns School of Tackling?
that's really funny. That's really funny. Well done to your French. That's really funny. Well done. Yeah.
Danny, you should have taken the credit for yourself on that one.
I wish I could. John Healy saying here, defense is wide open like a barn door at the moment.
Yeah, well, if you look at those first two tries, it is very evident that there's massive gaps in the defense at the minute, and you're missing the likes of a Hugo Keenan at fullback because he is so good at reading the game. He's nearly always in the right position. Whereas now, when you have a team like that, you're playing people out of position, so they're not as good as what the other lads would be. And look, it's unfair because fucking Frawley was playing 12 at the weekend. Like, things haven't been learned. Like that poor chap, he must be so frustrated.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Linear Bear and his system, do you think that he's not willing to make the changes, the little tweaks to his system to account for the players' different style? Or is it a case of this is the system, this is the way you have to operate, regardless of what style suit the player can do? So,
I'm surprised, Danny, he's still there. To be honest with you.
I think we all are. I think we're all a bit surprised he's still there.
Yeah, no. As a Munster supporter, I'd love Nenneberg to stay for another 5 or 6 years. You know, just like we had Johan van Graan.
We've spoken about this at length at times, and I think Mike Reedy made the point that like the system is built on the players that the South Africans have and the physicality that they have, and we don't necessarily have that same physicality, and the system doesn't work here. Now, in saying that, there was glimpses of it that it did work, that rush defense, but I just don't think it suits the Leinster style of play. So whether he is in the process now of making it different or making changes to make it more adaptable for the Leinster system, I don't know. But he's there for another year, so we have him anyway, so we may as well just...
The only way, Matt and Danny, the only way for any team, the only way a rush defense works is if you make your tackles. If you miss a tackle in a rush defense, you're going to leave the back end defensive system open.
We know this. I know.
Yeah,
but like the thing is, when you've got your rush defense, you're rushing up to the line of attack, where you're trying to stop them guys gain line access. So if a tackle is missed, you're opening up your defense for a run through, and we saw it against the Bulls at the weekend. There was gaps everywhere.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes, absolutely. And then what you have is, Matt, on top of that, you've got a fullback who's sweeping to cover the gaps. And hold on, Bishop Len is back.
Oh, geez. It's about
Go on. Danny, can you do that? And
Yeah.
I'll leave you to it.
The Munster flag is gone. Yes.
Yeah,
Go on.
That was interference.
I was only saying before the show, I was just saying to Matt that I had lads doing a bit of work here. And they tapped into the Wi-Fi and it went off for about 80 minutes. It's just gone off again. I never have any problem with my Wi-Fi, so I don't know what the story is now. But anyway, I'm back.
Go on. I'll leave you to it. Go on. I wasn't supposed to be here.
Welcome
so
back.
I shall remove myself. Hold on.
All right, feck off.
I'm trying to. Would you shut up?
Be hurry up, Peter, for fuck's sake. Come on.
Danny, you could just kick him out.
I wish you could. Anyway,
we were discussing the Leinster match.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that anyway, then?
It was an absolutely brilliant game. Brilliant game. It was a thriller from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bless myself here now, but I actually agree with Matt. They played well, and
is that fucking roof actually won it? Is it?
I know. No, they actually could have won it. They could have won it, and to go down to South Africa is no easy task. We know that. It's only for Munster really to be able to go down there and win. But anyway, look, fucking, I actually said on the group to you, Matt, they were in an ass's roar of winning it. But at altitude, you have the lactic acid in the legs, the lungs are going to be bursting. They came so
second game into the season. That's a tough place to get.
Yeah,
it is, and also on after the hammering that they got the week before, we were expecting a loss. Now, I did actually say to you, in all fairness, I said, they might surprise you. Just, I think they actually surprised everybody.
They definitely did. I'd say, definitely did.
Yeah. And then there was a couple of things then, like Will Connors got the yellow. That didn't fucking help. Now, actually, to be honest with you, I think he was lucky on the yellow. That could have been a red.
I think he was very lucky because I watched it again there before it came on, and even though he attempts the wrap, he could have easily evaded you could see he was higher than the player. Now they deemed it mitigation, but it could have easily another TMO could have, or another bunker review could have gone, no, that's a red. And that's how close these decisions are. And that's why it's so tough, because it's literally it's somebody's opinion. You're basically waiting for somebody to make an opinion on or make a call on that tackle, and it could
objective. Really, it depends on who the ref is and who the team is at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And again, it tends to be the language that the referees and the TMO use to each other as well.
And it depends what the ref leads with, really, as well.
Exactly, because the way when there's a try or an on-field decision is try, they have to find overwhelming evidence to rule it out.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of the language that they use between each other as well.
Or where to go, try yes or no. It gives the TMO a bit of leeway, But look, in fairness, Danny, we have to congratulate Matt for coming on after 2 weeks in a row. Tonight's the excuse was the Wi-Fi mightn't hold up, lads, and it was me. Last week, I think,
you waiting for the first win of the season.
His canary to the vets or something like that, wasn't it? I can't remember what the excuse was, but he went fucking straight into hiding.
You're full of fucking shite. And let's
anyway, how is the canary? Is he better?
Your Wi-Fi didn't go down. You had to drop the kids
we didn't fucking lose. I don't have to make any excuses here, Matt Boland. We didn't lose.
I'm not making excuses. I predicted 2 losses.
You didn't, fairness. But you're fucking, it's no fun if I can't fucking wind you up.
But sure, how are you winding me up?
What was Mr. Burke saying when I was gone?
Telling me that he was saying you're the biggest bollocks going. And
everybody knows that.
No, he's talking about you, Matt, here, Matt. It wasn't Jay he's talking about you, Matt.
No, definitely. Peter Burke wouldn't say anything about me.
And what did he have to say about Leinster? I missed that. Fuck it.
Yeah, you have to watch it back. Because we're moving on. Yeah, because we're moving on here now in a second anyway.
Actually, just on the Leinster game as well, look, there was actually, I won't say it was a highlight game. Sam attempted a drop goal. Now, number one, he had fucking fair play to him, I thought, for having the balls to go for it. And to be quite honest with you, I actually thought it was gone over. He only missed it by a whisker.
I thought it was gone on.
So I thought it was gone over myself. Yeah, the camera angle, it looked like it was gone over. And probably the downside of that was his pass to Creel. It was fucking into the fucking breadbasket. It wasn't even an intercept. But, you know, that could have given him the fucking win. Now, I've seen in some of the groups there where there's one or two Leinster lads are fucking up in arms and giving out about the fact that there's an awful lot of emphasis on Sam's mistakes. Yeah, but look, but my view on that is, like, cop yourself on, lads, because on a rugby pitch, the main focus is on a 10. He runs the fucking game, right? So it doesn't matter if you're Jack Carty or Sam Prendergast or fucking Jack Crowley, you are going to get the most attention on the pitch. So your mistakes are amplified much more than anybody else's.
Yeah.
And maybe say,
not even that, you're targeted. As a quality end, you're always targeted.
Yeah. And look, you handle the ball, the 9 and 10 handle the ball probably more than anybody else on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? So the more you handle the ball, the more liable you are to make mistakes. And, you know, you ask somebody, say, who's not familiar with rugby, just watches the odd Six Nations games or whatever, and you turn around and you say to them, name an Irish rugby player. I swear to Christ, 9 out of 10 of them will go Ronan O'Gara, Johnny Sexton, because that's maybe Brian O'Driscoll. Do you know what I mean? Peter O'Mahony, but like it'll be the 10s that they're familiar with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for people to go, oh, Sam has been fucking hit for every time he makes a mistake. He is, because he's a fucking 10. He's in the shop window much more than any other player. Maybe apart, as I said, from Slimani last week, who got a fucking two, and he was in the shop window because the rating was so fucking low on him. He had such a poor game. But let's get over it. Like, you have, as a 10, you have to have a thick skin and be able to take the criticism. It's as simple as fucking that. And supporters, likewise, have to be able to take.
Look at it this way, Len. Like, all these people slating Sam Prendergast, he's not reading their comments anyway. So they're wasting their fucking breath.
Yeah.
No, you see, I'm coming from the other angle. The people that were getting very fucking head up over the fact that, you know, people were highlighting the couple of mistakes that Sam made, and they were getting fucking, you know, oh, Sam has been targeted again. But as I say, as a 10, you have to be able to fucking ride that. That is your job. You're in the shop window more than any other player on the pitch. Get over it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It isn't that he's been singled out for his mistakes. Every 10's mistakes are much more noticeable than most of the other players on the pitch. You know what I mean?
You know yourself, like when there's a maul, when there's a scrum, Anton, the ball goes from 9 to 10 generally all the time. And they're in the middle of the pitch, the middle of the park, and that's where all the cameras are. You never see a fucking winger on the screen all the time. They're out fucking picking their arses on the fucking sidelines. That's where all the action is. Huh?
You talk from experience being a winger, picking your ass on sidelines, just
freezing your arse off on the fucking wing, waiting for a fucking forward to pass you, and they think they can fucking run the length of the pitch.
Because you can.
Fat cunts.
Yeah, but what do you think all this padding is for? It's supply the energy to run fast. Now, Greg, yeah.
That slows
that's
you down.
All the energy, it sheds off after a while. It powers us forward.
Are you familiar with The Simpsons?
Yes.
Did you ever see that episode of Homer Simpson on the treadmill?
No.
That's a forward running. Where
you just see him running.
Oh, look at that blubber fly.
Yeah, but what do you think powers us forward, for fuck's sake?
Farts.
Yeah, it's a perpetual motion. Once you start going, you're grand. As long as it's down there.
It's fucking farts, to be honest with you.
There is some exhaust, fumes from that, from that engine. But Gregor Galway here,
you've 10 points of Guinness before a rugby match. You go into the first scrum, and all of a sudden there's this massive energy that's built up, and then all of a sudden it's released, and
yeah, that works. Hey, how you got to get second rows pushing some way. You know. Fair enough.
That's how you win against the head, lads. That's how you win against the head.
That's
Yeah,
it.
fair enough. Geneva convinced are trying to ban it as a biological weapon, but they haven't succeeded so far. But like, yes, we'll wrap up in the Leinster game anyway with this comment from Gregor Gaw. He said, "Get it over, me, South Africa. I would back you boys to beat Sharks if they don't have their SA boys and home advantage." So we'll just have to see how that goes, I suppose, anyway. Let's see. And one lesson here by James Healy. Since Neighbour came in, the only decent performance came against La Rochelle in the quarterfinal last year and final a few months ago, constantly making it unnecessarily difficult in most games, I think.
You know what? I would actually agree with that to a certain extent, because La Rochelle was the bogey team.
Yeah.
And when Ian Arbor came in, he gave them the tools to fucking front up against a physically stronger team. And since then, they've been able to do it. So he did, but overall, in my opinion, he's blunted Leinster's attack. So that's just my thumb's work on it.
Well, yeah,
Sorry,
look,
Ned?
I would agree with that comment too in certain instances. But like you said, like, was that just an anomaly that was the one time it worked and then it hasn't really clicked since?
Possibly.
Yeah, I made this understand it. Yeah, but
Anyway, go on.
Len, Munster 23, Cardiff 20. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, now this was the flip side of the Leinster game. We got some of us got very, very excited about our first game, you know, and you have to take the rough with the fucking smooth. And I think I said last week on the show that, you know, it's the first game of the season. You can't get overly fucking excited. And in Leinster's point of view, you can't get overly depressed on the results. You know, it's a long fucking season.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got off to a flyer last week. And this weekend, look, Cardiff are an early team. You know, they're not an easy team to beat. And they were up for the game. But it was our first home game in Thomond under Macmillan. And I really thought we would be up for it. But fucking, we were kind of under the cosh. It was a tough game. Okay, to be honest with you, Luke McGrath didn't have a great game for Leinster. He actually had a poor game at the weekend.
We're talking about Munster.
I know that, but I'm making a point here, Danny, so give me a fucking chance.
Relax.
The sweat is pissing off me trying to get me fucking broadband back on. Mother of fuck. I'm on stressed here. More beer. Anyway, yeah. And likewise, we had no Casey this week. And Eden Coughlin went in there. Let's just say, look, no offense to that, but he's not Casey. So I don't think the delivery of ball wasn't as fast. It was an element to it. Then we had Haley, who had one of his better games the previous week for Munster. Ben O'Connor was in his place. Now, Ben, again, is a good player, but he just didn't fire as well as Haley was the previous week. And they're called a back three for a reason. The fucking fullback and both wingers have to fucking perform. There's no good, you know what I mean? You get the ball outside the winger from the centres. Yes, that's well and good, but you need your fullback to be able to get go forward ball from a high fucking pass in or whatever. So yeah, it was. I'm not saying it's disappointing. We came away with a win. There were some good performances in it. I thought Coombs. I actually have to say I thought Gleeson was excellent the first week. Coombs is a great man from 5 meters out. There's nobody like him to power over. He was lucky in places. He was sticking around. He did get a yellow for the hand in the ruck, and then there was accusations that he came in with the knee on Dan Thomas. But like, he redeemed himself because he got the try later on. The highlight for me was Crowley. Crowley was excellent. That little chip over, gathered his own chip, put a kick through on the fly, almost put Dan Kelly over. It was deemed to be short. and then the drop goal. Fucking, it was a windy night down there. Maybe fucking not exceptionally, but again, any 10 that has the balls to go for a drop goal, you have to admire him. As I said, Sam was millimeters off. Jack managed to slaughter. Look, they can go either way on the night, but yeah, look, at the end of the day, we came away with the fucking points. It's 2 wins from fucking 2. Happy with that, but just the fall off between the first week's performance and the second, especially at home, you kind of, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I suppose the nerves have been the first game of the home game as well. New coach.
Well, look, like Thomond used to be a fortress, so there should be no fucking nerves at home.
Yeah. Matt, your thought on the Munster Cardiff game?
Yeah, look, I mean, I did watch it, and credit, you got to give credit to Cardiff because they went and played, and they played extremely well, and I think they put Munster under a lot of pressure at times. And I think it was like 5-5 or something at halftime, or 5-10.
Half time, yeah, 5-5. That's all it was. Yeah,
5-5 at halftime. That'll just show you how fucking tight that game was. But as Len said, like Jack Crowley was brilliant and well deserving of player of the match. I think Nankerville had a good game. I felt bad for Scannell because he went off quite early in the first half.
Yeah,
did he?
And I think
Was it a head or something?
He's some head injury, I think some sort of injury anyway, yeah.
So, I mean, that was unfortunate. I think Barron came on. When Barron came on for Scannell, I think he did really well. Who else? Gavin Coombs. Like that lad, when he gets a ball at the 5 meters from the line, he's going to. Yeah. He is so powerful from short range. He is unbelievable, and like you said, made up for his yellow card. And look, again, that he could have easily got away with that one. We've seen so many players get away with it, and it's just one of those things. If it's spotted, you're gone. If it's not spotted, it's very hard to determine who did it or was it actually intentional. Do you know what I mean? So, who was it? Paddy Patterson. I think he did all right when he came on.
Paddy Forfolks.
Yeah, Paddy Forfolks. That's it. Yeah. He came on for Coughlin. And look, Craig Casey is so fast at getting that ball from the bottom of a ruck. The ruck, he just increases the ruck speed by, I'd say, about 3 seconds. So nobody is going to match him anyway. And I think he is, when he's on form for Munster, it's very, very hard to defend against that. And that's where I think a lot of Munster get a lot of go forward ball going and quick ball and good ruck ball and ruck speed and all that sort of stuff. And he is just lightning fast. And look, for the size of him, he is a quality player. And I really think he should be thereabouts for Ireland as well, and he's definitely, like, once Gibson Park goes, I think he could be a shoe-in for starting. But yeah, look, I mean, there was lots of positives, lots of negatives in that game, but they got the win,
Actually, a good question here from Peter.
I would love a win right now.
Yeah. Good question here from Peter, and I know this is kind of a bit too early in the season to be asking this. It's only after 2 games. But
Right, can I answer this?
Yeah.
After 2 games, I'd start Crowley.
Len, who would you start in the autumn internationals? Jack Crowley or Sam Pendergast? Doesn't on 2 games.
Crowley. He's a bit lucky club. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Sam Prendergast is a good player, right? He has a lot in his toolbox, right? I think he was parachuted in a season too early, right?
Yeah.
And the criticism he's suffering is not his fucking fault, because the simple reason is he didn't ask to be picked, right? He was anointed, right, over Foley, over Osborne, and brought into the Ireland camp, right? Yeah. The chap, I think it's actually unfair on him, right? He should have been given a full season to bed in, learn his craft. Like let's be honest here. At under 20 level, that chap was fucking amazing, absolutely amazing, right? And I think what can happen is you can ruin a player. You can ruin a player's confidence. He doesn't, in fairness, he doesn't seem to lack the confidence, right? But there were so many fucking headlines written over the Six Nations. And we had Matt Williams on, and we didn't get a chance to ask him. Well, I didn't get a chance to ask him because one of the questions I wanted to ask Matt Williams was, were the media complicit in the absolute furore between nearly fucking civil war between Munster and Leinster in the Crowley-Prendergast debate? And I honestly think they were, right? Because there was no...
I'd agree with you as well.
Yeah, there was no balanced criticism. It was a kind of a case that you couldn't criticize Sam, or they wouldn't criticize Sam for any failings, right? And likewise with Crowley, if Crowley came on for fucking 10 minutes, it was kind of dismissed. And that was created by the media. And then the supporters fucking fed into it. And you had really strong elements on both sides that we'll call them the fundamentalists on both sides went fucking ballistic, you know. So I think start Crowley, give fucking Sam a season, bring him on, or alternate. Everybody thought the boys would have been alternated in the Six Nations matches, and it didn't, and that actually fucking drove people mental. So no, look, Crowley's game at the moment is more rounded. His kicking last season was not great, right? And as a 10, you have to be able to kick as well, from the tee. So there's a mix and match between the two of them. But yeah, to answer the question, I would start Crowley at the moment.
Ned, there's a good comment here. I want your response on this one. This is by Andrew Tynan. He says Sam Prendergast will be starting regardless of how Crowley is performing at Munster. Do you agree with that?
If that's the case, that's horseshit. And we'll go into another Six Nations where there'll be fucking meltdown on social media yet again.
Yeah, Matt, your thoughts on Andrew's comment about Prendergast starting regardless of Crowley's performance at Munster?
I think it'd be very unfair for them to do that again, because they're going to open up more if he doesn't perform to the way fans are expecting him to perform. They're just going to. He's going to get slated on social media again, and that's going to do nothing for the chap's confidence. Like, he's still only 22, and people are saying that his ceiling is higher, or whatever bullshit they want to call it. But if you look at it, you know, from a standpoint of view, Jack Crowley is performing better at the moment. And for me, I would pick him. If you look, we're going to be playing like France and England away, and you miss tackles on them lads, and it's game over. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen what France were capable of when they came here and they slaughtered us in Lansdowne or in Aviva. And we want to play our best game possible and picking the best players that we have available. And I think it would be very unfair for the chap to if he's thrown in the deep end again. When you've got the likes of Jack Crowley there, give them both half. We've said this before. They should either alternate the starting and they play 40 minutes or 50 minutes and the other comes on to replace, and they should be working together, do you know, because again, we've got to be looking forward towards the 27 World Cup. We have two fantastic 10s at the moment, Crowley and Prendergast, and we need to use them right. And, you know, like if it's a case that Crowley or Prendergast has been picked as starting and he's playing 70 or 80 minutes again and he makes a mistake, the fans are going to fucking go through him for a shortcut, and that's going to knock his confidence.
Yeah, no,
I think they need to be smart.
Yeah, actually, Bevan puts a good Peter's comment in about Crowley or Prendergast. Cathal Ford, could he be a good choice option at third choice 10 for Ireland?
Absolutely, yeah,
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah, without a doubt. But just even
because
going back on that, and I think I've said it already. These autumn internationals that are coming up, right? We have some tough games against teams now that have been fucking battle hardened in the fucking rugby championship. And this is going to the World Cup rankings. So these are fucking important games. And as Matt said, again, not to criticize that, but fucking we start missing fucking falling off fucking tackles or missile tackles against the likes of South Africa, and they're running fucking tries. It's going to affect our rankings. So you pick the on-form player at the moment, right? And look, if that fucking changes, so be it. It is down to the best player on fucking form. But look, we saw Andy Farrell pick Mac Hansen for the Lions. He was far from the on-form player. A lot of people were actually very surprised that Mac got the call up. Now, I think he did vindicate himself, right? But Andy is not. The one thing about Andy is he's not. He doesn't go out on a limb. I think he tends to play it sort of safe.
Safe players that know his system and are familiar with his system.
It's down to the system. And look, you can understand the fact that the majority of the Leinster players or the Ireland players are coming from Leinster, and so they're more familiar with the system. But a good 10 will slot in. Actually, look, in fucking fairness, let's be quite honest here. A good player, full stop, in any position, will adapt to a system pretty fucking quickly. So I hope he does the right thing. And I really don't want to see the fucking absolute fucking madness that was the Six Nations, because it spoiled the Six Nations for an awful lot of people.
Colin there right says is it the RFU will decide who starts and no one else. That's down to Farrell. Not the RFU governing body, that's down to Farrell. That's the person that
stating the fucking obvious.
Yeah. Like the RFU are not the head coach there, it's Andy Farrell. So
we're only given our opinions, and we've said it before, about its opinions, and everybody's going to have a different opinion. So we're just being fair, and like we're not here to put any player or any team down and feed into that media frenzy around the likes of the grief that Sam Prendergast got, because that is plain and simple disgraceful. Do you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be a factor at all in these things, but unfortunately that's just the way it is. You have keyboard warriors,
as I said,
they've nothing better to be doing.
The media fucking fueled it, and
without a doubt,
paper never refuses ink. And if you can write up a fucking story about fucking the Munster one, lads one fucking, and throw in a fucking few quotes from social media, hey, they're happy as Larry.
Absolutely.
If everything was hunky dory and happy at the camp, they fuck all to write about.
True.
Oh, let's see. There's a comment here by Peter. I'm not sure if I should show it on stage or not.
Throw it up.
All right. Let's see. If Tynan knew what he was talking about, it would be interesting.
That was Andrew Tynan's comment earlier, was it?
There's multiple here, but lads, the reason I was asking you about the Pendergast versus Crowley situation at tennis, one thing I think an awful lot of people don't understand about giving their opinion is that you're not trying to make the decision for whoever is head coach, whether it be Joe Smith or Andy Farrell or whoever comes in after him. It's what you would do if you were head coach of the national team or a provincial side. That's an awful lot of thing I think people don't understand. It's like this is what I would do if I were the coach of that team.
Yeah, but look, everybody has an opinion. We know the old saying, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody has one. But like everybody has an opinion. Like if you watch rugby week in, week out like we do, and you love fucking rugby, you're going to have an opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
who's
the best player?
And you're going to have somebody that doesn't agree with your opinion. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, but they're fucking wrong then, Matt.
Yeah.
Lads, we have about 5 minutes left here, so I'm going to fly through the games coming up this week as well. Anyway, I think I'd love this, if we could do this on our scheduled live show, which we have in the works at the moment. It's been a great run.
Friday the 14th of November.
November.
The day before the Ireland Australia game in Aviva Stadium.
Ooh. So
More info will follow later on when we get all the artwork and all that sort of stuff sorted out and promo all done. We'll be posting.
Yeah, so just to be careful of that, because I think this would be very entertaining in front of an actual live audience. Yeah. Now, hopefully, hopefully a big name might be involved, but as I said, everything is in the works, so we'll have to see.
Oh, Danny, you tease.
Oh, I'd love to be a teaser. Oh, gets me on.
Okay.
And then I'll come to you first in this one, the Friday night game. Munster hosting Edinburgh. Who do you see winning that?
It's going to be a tough game. Again, it's in Thomond, so I would hope for a little bit more of the first game rather than the second, and get our attack working and firing. And like Edinburgh will be tough opposition, but I'm going to go for Munster win.
Matt, Munster or Edinburgh? Munster at home.
I think that's going to be an absolute belter of a game. And look, Edinburgh are in quite good form at the moment, but in Thomond, you'd have to go with Munster because it is a fortress. It's very hard for teams to get a win there, and even if they do get beaten, it's always very, very it's like a score. It's like a score in it, like 3 or 4 points. But I would go with Munster at home.
Come on, Matt. That's the Mammy's influence.
You know, I'd always back Munster. I'd always back Irish teams. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's just to keep his mammy happy. That's just to keep his mammy happy.
Oh, there we go. Look, it's not even in Thomond.
Yeah. Dave Sheedy says it's on in Cork. Cork, bye.
Oh, yeah, it's in Moses' grave, actually. Sorry, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Please might lose then.
Mike Sheedy said in Munster win as well. Matt, since I have you handy, Leinster versus Sharks. Leinster at home.
Thank God we're at home. Fucking hell. That's all I can say. I do expect Leinster to bounce back. I think they, from the first game to the second game, vast improvement, and I think they're going to right a few wrongs now next weekend and get a win.
Home advantage and all that. 5 points.
In Aviva Stadium as well. So it's very hard to go against Leinster if Aviva at home.
Yeah, well, actually, it's funny now because last week Munster were the only team. Away team to get, or the first week we're the only
first week.
First week,
that's right.
yeah. I know I'm on fucking time warp here to get an away win, right? And no team this weekend got an away win. And Dragons and Sharks. Dragons were at home, and it was actually a draw. So, it was a draw, and fucking Benetton beat the Lions, right? So.
That's a great result for Benetton, by the way.
A brilliant result, yeah. I think, was that a drop kick as well to win that game? Yeah, another drop kick. Fucking, the drop kick is making a comeback, lads. Love it. Love it.
Matt, you must be in Mommy's good books because she said Munster to win as well.
My mum will always win, no matter what.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Pauline. Look, I actually see Leinster winning this one. Definitely. I see, and I think, if they can build on the performance of last week, which, as I said, was not easy at altitude down in South Africa, I'd fancy Leinster for this one. And I think they'll, I actually think it could be by a margin.
Yeah. And then I'll come to you on this one. Ulster had their game cancelled against Edinburgh last week, but they are hosting the Bulls this week in Ravenhill. Who did you see win that one, Ulster or the Bulls?
Yeah, look, South African teams don't travel as well as they do at home. I'm going to go for an Ulster win.
Matt?
Yeah, look, the South African teams don't travel well, and we all know that.
Is there an echo in here, Matt?
They always seem to only pick a full strength squad when it's the Champions Cup when they're traveling. So
true, yeah.
I would go with, although does missing a game have an effect on the team?
You'd be surprised.
So I don't know. Look, I gotta go with Ulster at home. If they're at home, it's always a good advantage for any team. So I'm gonna go with Ulster for a win there.
Yeah. What do you know, Matt? You're still in Mommy's good books. Ulster win again. Matt, you must be buttering the mother up for something now.
Hey, I tell
You
you,
must be buttering her up for something now.
She's in the next room. She can hear me.
this is class. Fucking Matt is. I never see Matt so quiet as when his mother comes on. Fucking with the comments.
Matt, you reduced your fuck.
Yeah, the
amount
fuck
of-
level is
fuck
gone down.
you.
You know.
No, she definitely given out about the C word earlier on.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Fuck,
But wait until you watch the back of yours shows the amount of time you said
I will.
fuck.
Yeah. Here, listen.
Yeah.
Len has overtaken me anyway. He's the new F-bomb king.
Hey.
Matt,
My
since I had
wife
you there,
overheard. I was watching back the show there one night, and she goes to me. She could hear my voice. She goes, "Is that you?" I was going, "Is that me? What? Is that you? Is that on the podcast?" I was going, "Yeah." You're speaking like you speak at home. I was going, "But you're always speaking like that." But that's live, and you're F this and F that and F the other thing. I goes, "But you're look."
Matt does it.
Yeah. I don't even know. I actually did say to her, "I'm actually trying to tone it down for the podcast." She goes, "Yeah, it didn't work."
Yeah, it's the amount of Guinness you're drinking. Matt, last game of round 3, Cardiff hosting Connacht. Now, Connacht had their game cancelled as well last week. Who do you see win that one, Cardiff or Connacht?
Jesus, that could be an absolute belter of a game as well. I mean, Connacht will take, or Cardiff will take a lot of positive and momentum from that performance against Munster, and the fact that they're at home could be a tough ask for Connacht. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cardiff on that one by a point or two.
Len,
I think
Cardiff.
they sneak win.
Yeah. Len, Cardiff or Connacht?
Yeah, look, what you want to do in this situation, we all want the 4 home provinces to win.
Yeah,
and I think I have to agree. I agree with Matt here 100%. Cardiff have their backs up after that. The Welsh teams, the threat of the fucking hammer coming down on maybe 2 of them, they're all trying to fucking perform. I don't think the results in the open rounds of URC is going to really make any difference. This decision will be made behind the scenes, but at the same time, they're all going to want to put in performances, right? Yeah. I think it's going to be a tough ask for Connacht, and I probably will go with a Cardiff win, but I really do hope that Connacht manage it. And hopefully Lancaster has something up his sleeve and he's his homework done that kind of come away with a win. But like on the balance of probabilities, it'll probably be a Cardiff win.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I knew that. Lads, I suppose we will call it tonight. Matt, it's been a pleasure. You too, Len, for the bit of the show you were in.
Yeah, thanks very much, lads. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
10 minutes ago.
You give me shit about my dodgy Wi-Fi, and at least I don't freeze and drop off anyway. And of course, a big thanks to Peter Burke for dropping in when Len decided to drop off. So, lads,
he's nowhere near as entertaining, lads, in all fucking fairness. But you look, we have to deal with the hand we're dealt with.
and what the weird thing was then, before I say goodbye, he's actually drinking water. He's
trying to make
water. He's back on sober October, is he? Fair fucks.
He's trying. Yeah. He's trying his best. After failing miserably yesterday.
Yeah, lads, Matt, Len, good night. Until next time. Take care.
Spotify later on, lads.
All right.